What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Sun Life. Welcome to our channel. On today's video, it is well past midnight and we are walking through Bradenton, Florida, very late at night on a Saturday. Let's see what type of environment exists late night in Bradenton. We've done a lot of videos in downtown Sarasota late at night, and I've had a lot of people ask me, is Sarasota or Bradenton, which one's a better city? By far, Sarasota is a much better city, and they're very different. These cities are right next to each other, but they're very different. One thing that makes Sarasota and Bradenton different is that Bradenton's downtown feels more like a downtown, let's say, in the Carolinas. It feels more southern, big oak trees. Despite the fact it's very hot and it's already the summer, the Christmas trees are still up. And it's a decorative touch. Typically you'll see this in Florida, not in too many other places. But you'll understand why with today's video that there's definitely a huge difference in these two cities. Despite Bradenton and Sarasota being right next to each other in Florida, they're very different cities. Sarasota has more of a yuppie vibe, kind of more young people out at night, more expensive. But Bradenton is a poorer city. There's a lot of Irish pubs here. Sarasota has Latin nightclubs and, you know, kind of hip places in Sarasota that are open late at night. It's a lot less hip here. It's more formal and safety. So downtown Sarasota is a very safe city. Notice you have cameras here right now, right over us. We're walking right underneath the camera. Looks like an Alabama right there. Alabama or Atlanta? Hard to tell. Sarasota, you're talking Cuban. You know, you got the Latin house. You have there's a Cuban restaurant coming to downtown Sarasota. But Bradenton feels more colonial. It feels more English. It feels more just kind of like the downtowns in the deep south. More towards the Carolinas. It feels like you're in the Carolinas here. It's a very formal, more laid back downtown, but safety. Downtown Sarasota is considerably safer. Despite the fact that there's a large police presence here, it doesn't seem, this Uber driver's like falling asleep. He's probably waiting for a ride. You go ahead, man. You good. Uber driver getting his passengers. Despite Sarasota being right next to Bradenton, they're very different cities. I mean, safety in Sarasota is much better at night. But very different vibes. You'll have like a lot more like Irish pubs here. Every Florida city is unique. And Bradenton is no exception. Fort Myers has its own vibe, you know, colorful buildings. There's a huge police presence here at night. I mean, there's a lot of cops, but even that doesn't deter bad things from happening. It's weird about Bradenton is that even though there's like a crap load of cops here, it still feels like something could go down at any moment, and it actually does. Tonight is a relatively calm night. This bar here gets kind of crazy depending on the type of event they're holding. This spot right here can get kind of wild. It depends on what event they're holding. No nights are the same. Sometimes, depending on the events that are happening, there'll be just a massive police presence. And what I find weird is, like, I've been out here, like when I would Uber drive, I'd be out here at 3 in the morning, and there would just be this huge, massive police presence. And it still felt like if something were to pop off, literally the amount of cops here were not going to stop anything from happening. It really, it didn't feel like the massive police presence made a difference. It really doesn't feel as safe as Sarasota. It feels more, I don't know how to describe it. The night seems like a really chill night, and again, the night that I was here, it was the type of events they were having that night were like rap music festivals or something. It really felt like the 20 cops that they had lined up here weren't going to be able to fend off whatever could happen that night, you know? But it's definitely, the vibe here is different, with Sarasota feeling considerably safer in my personal opinion. But you can also back it up analytically. Analytically, Sarasota didn't have any homicides last year. This year they've already had a few. So opinions aside, if you crunch numbers, Sarasota's a much safer city. So Bradenton feels literally like South Carolina. It feels like you're in the Carolinas. Like, this reminds me of the small towns you find around Charlotte. It's got a very Carolinas vibe. Lots of Irish pubs.
Sorry.
Oh, you good, bro? Don't worry. It really feels so different than Sarasota. Sarasota is more fast-paced. Like, even the way people move and walk and just vibe is different. Every Florida city, like I said, just has a different downtown. Like Melbourne, Florida, it's the cars with the loud exhaust, and like, you know, rock. They play rock music really loud. If you're into like rock music, you know, like all that heavy metal stuff, that's kind of what Melbourne is. Fort Myers is like a lot of there's a few Latin nightclubs and a few like biker bars with, like, you know, Harleys. Right now. Bradenton's, it's like more slow pace. Really weird how each Florida city has its own environment late at night. It's interesting. I've never seen any other state other than Florida where downtown, like, this is another, what is this, Irish pub? Yeah, Irish pub. Here's like another Irish pub, you know? There are so many Irish pubs here. How do they even stay in business? Like, there's no variety. There's no like Cuban or biker bars. There's like just Irish pubs. And of course, downtown Bradenton is kind of part of the city's grid pattern. Similar to Sarasota in a way, except for Sarasota isn't surrounded by the same types of neighborhoods as... What happened, man? What's up? What's up?
What's you doing?
Oh, I'm doing
YouTube?
yeah, I'm doing downtown Bradenton. Southern Life. I got 140,000 subscribers. Y'all live here?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, bro.
Fuck downtown.
Hey, what city y'all from? Bradenton?
Taliban.
Onico? All right, bro. Check out Southern Life, bro. Y'all have a good night, man. Southern Life. Southern Life. Yeah, bro. Appreciate it, bro. So every city has its own vibe, like I said. And here it's a little bit more aggressive. It's a little more in your face. It's a little bit more, it's chill and laid back, but at the same time, it's a different environment. Like, every Florida city is its own beast, bro. I'm telling you. And I don't know how to explain it. It's just, Florida has like the biggest diversity of downtown. So if you actually enjoy going to the downtowns of cities, you'll find that literally it's perplexing, because every Florida city is so unique. Like, there's no specific characteristics to downtown Bradenton or any other Florida city. You can say, okay, simultaneously all these cities have a similar downtown. Fort Myers, Bradenton, and West Palm Beach are somewhat similar, but there's, again, no real rules to this. Now, if you were just going that direction, you get a little bit further of the downtown area. You have, I think I had to get my driver's license here when I moved to Bradenton. The courthouse is here. kind of an odd parking situation. Got to park a few blocks away during the daytime. Sometimes there's people sleeping in right here, but I don't see any today. Either way, I wouldn't recommend exploring the outskirts of downtown Bradenton at night. In Sarasota, if you go north of downtown, it gets sketchy. But even there, they understand that there's tourists and stuff. But how would I describe downtown Bradenton? Lots of Irish pubs, a little bit more in your face, slower speed. Sarasota is more elegant, more hipsters, millennials. I wouldn't even say hipsters. I would just say like, I don't know, like middle class millennials or something. I don't even know how I would describe it. But you know, Sarasota is a tourist city and Bradenton is an older city. You know, so these cities, like, for example, Bradenton's minority population is mostly going to be Mexican, where Sarasota, you have a lot more like Latin Americans now. North Sarasota, it's like Cubans, Puerto Ricans, some Brazilians. Where Bradenton is more Mexicans, for example. So characteristics of these cities are just really different. I would say that Bradenton has a more charming downtown. Maybe on a cold winter day, you know, drinking with some friends, this would make more sense than Sarasota, because Sarasota is the boom, 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 the electronic dance music kind of vibe. This is a Loaded Barrel. I think it's another Irish pub, I believe. Let's take a look. It's a tavern. Okay, it's a tavern. Tavern. And then tavern. So taverns and Irish pubs. This is a game here. Sarasota again is more like electronic dance music. You got some bars in Sarasota that are kind of probably going to be playing maybe some hip hop, maybe some electronic dance music, maybe some Latin music. This is kind of like a saloon. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a word you don't see too often used anymore, but taverns, saloons, Irish pubs. You get the idea. It's more of a, more like an American, I don't know how to describe it. Sarasota isn't quite Miami. Sarasota kind of balances. This is a cigar bar right here. Fort Myers has a few cigar bars. Now, Bradenton Beach, you're not allowed to have live music after 10 p.m. on Bradenton Beach, so I guess here there is live music way late into the night, sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning. So it's okay. All different cities, different vibes. Bradenton and Fort Myers are laid out very similarly though, except for Bradenton, the main street here is north to south, and in Fort Myers it's east to west. Can't understand the damn thing he's saying. Is this a bar here? A bar? This is a pub. Okay, it's labeled a pub. This one's a pub. Okay, so we got a pub here. Pubs, pubs. Pub. Irish pub again. So you get the idea. Taverns, pubs, saloons. That's the vibe here. This is called the Paddy Wagon Irish Pub. And I also feel like everybody here is a local in Bradenton. Like you see like groups of blacks and whites together. Like you can tell this is just people that went to high school together and hometown vibe, you know? Where Sarasota, it's like everybody there might be a tourist or like borderline 60% of people might be tourists. Where here, there's very few tourists here. The similarities between downtown Bradenton and downtown Fort Myers are just numerous. Like I said, north to south Main Street here. And it's a little different than that. It's in Fort Myers, it's east to west. Fort Myers on the north has the Caloosahatchee River. Bradenton on the north, over there, has the Manatee River, I'm sorry. I On the north side of Bradenton, you have Palmetto, which is like the poorest area, and North Fort Myers is on the north side of the river. You have two bridges across here. You have two bridges to cross in Fort Myers. The Caloosahatchee River and the Manatee River are both about the same size, two bridges. There's docks in the same exact places on both sides. And then there's a little island that stretches out on both sides as well. So the similarities between downtown Bradenton and downtown Fort Myers, at least geographically, are insane. I mean, for one, US 41 splits this downtown north to south just like it does Fort Myers, except for here it kind of splits downtown through the center, down that way. And in Fort Myers, it's a little to the west, but the same exact freaking layout. To the point, it's almost disturbing how similar these cities are geographically. I mean, if you understand downtown Fort Myers, you understand downtown Bradenton. A river splits the city. Downtown is on the south side of the river. North side of the river, you have an area of the city that's kind of run down. Same thing. Downtown Fort Myers is more compact in the historic district. You got like there's 4-story buildings. Everything here is 2-story. Palm Beach Boulevard splits Fort Myers east to west. Here you have Palm Beach Boulevard eventually turns to McGregor, which eventually takes you to the beaches. Here, 64, that's the same exact thing. I mean, it's eerily weird how similar these cities' downtowns are. There's really a lot in common. As far as the cityscape and how it's laid out, very similar. But overall, when it comes to safety, I would rate Bradenton possibly lower than Miami Beach. And I know that's a good stretch to say, but I really do feel like safety in this downtown is pretty bad. Probably safer than Jacksonville. Maybe safer than Jacksonville. Jacksonville is possibly the only city in Florida that really downtown is obsolete. I think for the size of Bradenton, the downtown is not utilized properly. I think the biggest problem that this downtown has, and there's really absolutely no nice way of putting it, but predominantly the biggest problem that the downtown of Bradenton has is that there's a criminal element to this place. And tonight it's actually pretty quiet and pretty chill. I've been out here at nights where there's groups of 10 to 15 people on opposite sides of the road staring each other down, which is always like, well, this could definitely go in the wrong direction. I think with safety being somewhat of a serious concern here compared to other Florida cities, that could definitely be a deterrent for people to want to come hang out here late at night. Fort Myers attracts a lot of people early in the evening, and later in the evening it clears out. I think it's a shame because Bradenton feels more historic and more hometowny than all the other downtowns, but endemically this city has a problem that Fort Myers used to have and they fixed it, which is the layout of downtown Bradenton is horrendous. The layout, and I say that because downtown Bradenton is laid out in a fashion that, you know, the downtown of a city has to flow, and this city is segmented by downtown in a really bad way. Downtown really splits the city in a bad way. We're actually going to walk around the back and then back around the front just to show you guys the environment on some of the back streets. The notion of like getting mugged doesn't usually exist in a downtown in Florida, but here in Bradenton, I'm not gonna lie, in the back of your head you're always like, wow, yeah, this could happen here. Maybe in a few cities you can feel that vibe. Miami Beach, Jacksonville Beach, not Jacksonville Beach, but downtown Jacksonville, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's it's always in the back of your mind, like, yeah, this seems like that place that could happen. Definitely. Notice some older buildings here. Yeah, people just randomly walking around, parking over here. It's not too much parking on the main street, so you gotta park on the back street sometimes. Yeah. Have a bad smell. You can tell it's a pump station there. No, it doesn't really, it's not enticing. I mean, you walk, this is 13th Street, right behind Main Street, and it's already like a dark looking type of alleyway here. Yeah, it doesn't feel safe, to be honest. It doesn't have a safe vibe. It really doesn't. And then you have some apartments over here. Like, here's the weird thing. Here's a house already. Like, but this isn't really a residential neighborhood. It's kind of like a few houses scattered here and there. Fort Myers had this problem where the downtown was kind of obsolete because they had one-ways. Bradenton needs to have engineers come in here. So if you were one of those people in Bradenton's commissioners and all that, take the crack pipe out of your mouth for a minute and listen. Fort Myers had the same exact problem of a downtown that's in, I mean, here we are, this is the main street. You walk back and here's just somebody's random house and a stop sign. This is just bad. Now, what can be done to turn this into something better? Fort Myers got rid of the one-ways. The one-ways are like from the era of when people had horses. And somehow, nobody's ever questioned the fact that we probably don't drive horses anymore. So, one-ways are kind of, well, obsolete. Yes. One-ways are the death of a downtown. When you enter a city in America, and there are one-ways. Now, I've done 5,000 to 6,000 videos for this channel. Most of them are driving to different cities in America. 38, 40 states. I've lost track at this point how many states I've been to. Quite a few. The general idea is that if the downtown of a city has one-ways, the city's dead. This has been something from the era of horses, when people drove horses. Now, nobody's going to downtown on a horse today. We're going in cars. But the cities are so ineffective that 100 years after horses have disappeared from American street scene, we still have infrastructure that was created for horses. And that is because ineffective city government. City government hasn't really cared to say, why do we have these one-ways? We don't have horses anymore. So one-ways are like, so horses wouldn't crash into each other head on. We don't have horses anymore. But what we do have are cities that haven't had a decent evaluation. Civil engineers to come in and say, oh, we don't have horses anymore, so let's get rid of these stupid one-ways since nobody's riding a horse to downtown anymore. We got rid of horses 100 years ago, so why haven't we got rid of these city patterns that were created probably for horses? Once you evaluate that, then you'll come to the conclusion that, okay, we don't need one-ways. We need traffic to flow through downtown in a way that is enjoyable, that is fluent, that is accessible to businesses so that people can start driving through downtown. The problem with Bradenton is that there's literally no infrastructure coming in or out of the city in any direction. There's literally 5 ways to enter Bradenton. I'm not even kidding you. This would be a great place to fish for snook here. I gotta come fishing here at night. It seems like if you throw a little live shiner out here, probably some good snook in here. So, there are some good things for downtown Bradenton. For one, is that it's identical to Fort Myers, and all the city planners in Bradenton have to do is look at Fort Myers, figure out what they changed, maybe call the people in Fort Myers and say, hey, Fort Myers, how did you guys go from a crap hole to a somewhat decent downtown? Because we need to do the same. The good thing is, downtown Bradenton has this, a nice boardwalk in the front. Now, it's not as nice as the one in Fort Myers, but it's laid out exactly the same. In fact, it's even more charming. You have these older older houseboats here, or whatever these things. That looks cool. I mean, this is, you know, big yachts, that doesn't matter how much money they're worth, but look, this is cool. A tourist will take a picture in front of this boat thinking it's some historical Chris Craft or something. It's a decent downtown. But they definitely have to come in here and say, okay, we got to get rid of the one-ways. Okay, this road right here doesn't have enough traffic. Why doesn't this road right here alleviate east to west traffic? You could have easily, you could literally cross, there's always a bottleneck. You know, you could have one of those diamonds, split traffic, utilize this road right here. This road here, put stop signs. Anybody coming on this road, this is a straight shot east to west. In fact, you could go underneath the bridge or over the bridge and alleviate east to west traffic in the afternoon. North to south traffic needs to be alleviated. One way to alleviate east to west traffic is to stop all this grid pattern of downtown. Some of these streets have to, like that street there, they can close that street. That street doesn't even need to be there. That can be like a boardwalk for pedestrians to walk or something. Okay? I'm not a civil engineer. I don't know exactly what they need to do, but I'm gonna give you guys an example of the type of things that they can come in here and do. Because the reason downtown Bradenton is obsolete about downtown, despite the fact the population of Bradenton and Sarasota are identical, Sarasota's downtown is a gem of a city. I mean, downtown Sarasota is impressive. Downtown Bradenton isn't. Why? Why, Billy? Why, if these two cities have identical populations, Bradenton even has better beaches? Yeah, it's that bad. No, it's so bad that Bradenton even has better beaches than Sarasota. I kid you not. But Bradenton also has another problem, is that the distance between downtown Bradenton and the distance between the beaches in Bradenton is considerably larger than Sarasota. And that is a disadvantage that Fort Myers has as well. Sarasota has the benefit that its downtown is right next to the water. Well, Bradenton doesn't have that situation. So, with that, you have to have even more strategic planning to figure out what the crap you can do. There's a new hotel here in downtown Bradenton. There's a new hotel right in the same spot in downtown Fort Myers. So I think what we can learn from today's video is that Bradenton has a lot of potential. It's not being implemented because it's a obsolete grid pattern that makes no sense. Look at some of the boats that are here. These boats right here, these aren't just little babies. You probably need $300,000 a year just to keep this boat running. A boat like this, you might even need like year-round staff or something for it. I'm not even sure how much it would cost to keep that thing going. But you know, you have a great downtown with great potential. It just isn't being utilized. Look at this boat. That right there is a boat. I bet you the engines, it probably has 2 engines the size of a car inside that boat. There's a lot of potential here. A lot of potential that is being wasted because the people that are here, they're not doing their job right. If they did their job right, they got in there, got some city planners, got some freaking civil engineers together and said, okay, how can we make this traffic move more fluently? How can we utilize our downtown more? A lot of the new building projects that are going into the city, let's put a halt on building in this part of the city. Okay, if you want to build a big building in Bradenton, okay, we'll give you an incentive to put it over here. Of course, that's not going to happen until you first fix the many challenges that the city of Bradenton is facing. It's a beautiful downtown. It has a lot of potential. And it's not being utilized. It's disappointing. Could be better. But this is downtown Bradenton. Just another city in Florida. I wonder if there's homeless people sleeping right next to the city hall. Wouldn't doubt it. That's the reality of Florida right now, really. Somebody just left their book bags there. This is City Hall here. Very elegant. I wonder if there's needles out here. Kind of empty. This is the City Hall of Bradenton. It's probably approaching 1 in the morning now. Okay. No needles here, at least. Well, at least there's no needles here. Yeah, at least there's no needles here. Look at that, Bradenton. You don't even have needles outside your city hall. But you can see somebody just left their personal items there, so there's definitely vagrants in the area. I don't know exactly where they're at. They're sleeping. Whoa. Bird poop. There it is. A tour of downtown Bradenton late at night. Definitely not as exciting as downtown Sarasota. But if you're in the pubs, it seems like pretty good pubs. Pretty good pubs. Pubs, taverns, and all types of places where you can get drunk. Also, not too many places serving food. I feel like, am I wrong, or there's just not enough places serving food here at night? In Sarasota, you smell the food that's being cooked. Here, I don't think there's a single place actually serving food late at night, is there? I'd like to know, because I like to eat late at night. I mean, I'm up late tonight. Checking out from Bradenton. Braden 10-10-10.